You are insanely good on the new Netflix show Boots. How did Cody find you?
Ooh, how did Cody find me? All right. So, first of all, thank you for saying I'm insanely good. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. But Cody actually, when I got the audition, I read for Hicks. So I read for Angus O'Brien's character. And then after that, I was like, I read the script and I was like, hey, John is really like it's a character I think I could sink into, my brother. And it was because when I grew up, I weighed 335 pounds. So I lost 100 pounds. So I did since the show's out, I can say this. I did something similar to what Blake did, where he lost all the weight. So I'm like, guys, like I'm this. I know this character inside and out. And I was like, can I read for John? And they were like, well, we don't really know if we believe you as John. I was like, but I can gain weight. And they're like, sure, read, And I read for it, and they're like, hold on, I think you're Cody. And they were like, can you read for Cody? And so I read for Cody, and they're like, hold on, we have this kid named Blake Bird, and he's phenomenal. Let me pitch both you guys together. And then after that, it was what it is today. Now Blake's one of my best friends. I literally talked to him this morning before the interview. So
I mean, you're supposed to be twins, and I'm an identical twin. I could not imagine the hate. Well, I don't know. Do you guys consider it hate? Do you have? I mean, there's clearly a disdain you have for one another. And we see the backstory as to why, because you were pitted against each other by your father as children.
absolutely.
How would you describe how the two of you feel for one another, though?
See, it's a really good question. I don't think there's hate. I think that I wanted what's best for Blake, right? For John. And growing up, I think it got cut from the final version. But our dad would put a lock on the fridge, and I'd have the key. And so it was really my
Oh, that's why he
responsibility.
blames. That's why you get punched. Okay, because you're like he
Exactly.
blamed me for gaining you gained 2 pounds
Three
this
pounds
week.
this week.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
good.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So no, that's so there's not hate. Like even when I like gave him the food. I know this is like backstory stuff that people aren't really like don't know, but I gave him the food, and it was like I like was okay with it. I knew I was gonna get a hit by dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew that things were gonna be rough, and I knew that what was coming, and so I think that's when I come into that room, you see it's like I'm upset with them, but I'm like you gained 3 pounds this week. Dad gave me this. Almost like it's another Tuesday, like almost like we're used to this. What are you talking about, buddy? Now I need to go. I think it's going to be better for the whole family if I'm gone. And I think that's the depth of Cody. It's not like, oh, I hate you or I hate dad or I hate mom. It's, I think a lot of people have felt this. Like, unfortunately, they feel like it'd probably just be better off if I wasn't here, and that is the internal struggle of Cody is it's probably better if I just go. And that's who Cody and John are, because I wanted the best for Blake, and I do, or John, and I want the best for John, even in boot camp. Like I think I'm like, you've proved that you can't do this growing up. Let's like save yourself the embarrassment, save yourself the problems that are coming from this. People are hating on you. There's a scene, when he's doing the pull-ups, you can hear the guys like, pack your bags, fatty. Like Kieran Moore says that, he's like Slovacek. And then you can see I look back,
The
like
struggle
almost
on your
like,
face to not
yeah.
like cheer him on or anything was just so visceral.
I appreciate you. Thank you. And it's just like also that whole brother thing of like, I can make fun of him. I can, mess with him. But if
That's what
anybody
I was
else
thinking
does,
too.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Right? That's
Absolutely.
exactly what was going through my mind at that moment as well, too. And to see him get the letter and you don't get the letter, you do feel like you are hurt a little bit though by that. And he's like, "Oh, it's probably
Absolutely.
just for us, for but." What was his relationship like then with his mom? We only see, the dad at that point.
Yes, ma'am. So, in the shot of the when our dad comes through, you can see our mom just in the background, like very, very briefly. She's so sweet. Um, so it was almost like he was a mama's boy, and I was with my dad, right? And they always kind of pitted us up against each other. And it's not that my mom didn't have love for me, but she just really like sunk in onto onto John, and to really try to love on him because he knew how hard our dad was on us. And so we were really this like I was my dad's son and he was my mom's son. And that's kind of how it's why I left and I knew that it was going to be better if I left. But the reason I was so mad in the end to go back home and the reason I was so mad at John was because our mom's at home dealing with all this without us. And it's like, the scene where we're standing next to each other and the chaplain's talking to us. As soon as the chaplain says, "Hey, you guys, you have a 48-hour bereavement period. You can go home, take care of your business." I just say, "Thank you, sir." I don't even look at him. I'm to the Humvee. Like I'm going home. It's almost that like I'm the man of the house now. It's time to take care of business. We got to get the funeral taken care of. We got to take care of mom, get her set up. Like that's what's going through my head. So that's why when I turn around, I'm like more upset with John because he's not wanting to go take care of mom. It's not even a him thing. It's our family. Like, what are you doing, man? Like you're 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 abandoning the entire family. There's that line. I'm telling you, the writing of the show is incredible.
It is.
Shout out to our entire team. There's a line where Slovacek's behind me, and he's like, you don't abandon your brothers. Ain't that right, Bam Bam?
Mhm.
Right? And then it like cuts, and I'm looking at John, and it's that I don't. It's the abandonment that I think that Cody is dealing with. Because I don't really, I feel like that's the thing that's really like the reason we're going. I want to go home. It's like, dude, we're letting mom take care of all this. That's why I'm so upset with him. And so I think that's our relationship and that's our mom's relationship to all of us. And then when Blake feels like he just is so, I think, and I
When
can't speak
John,
for, yeah, yeah, I know. I keep saying it. He's like my best friend now. I say it
I
all the
guess,
time.
you know.
Yeah, it's hard. But and I don't want to speak for John, but I do believe that there is some growth in John, but there's also this like he's dealing with being this new version of himself, and he has so much to learn still about who he is. And I think that struggle of like, no, this is the right decision to stay here. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And then I think in the line he does have, you can see in his eyes this like struggle of like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, and that's what we're all doing. We're all just trying to fight this internal thing we're going through. And it's beautiful how it's written to where we care about this entire platoon. Like every person has such an amazing story. So I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
I mean, the physicality to the role too. You're trying to actually be soldiers on screen,
Yeah.
and you must
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
been dead on your feet afterwards. First, let's go though. What kind of paces did they put you through before you actually started filming these? Because you had to be actually able to do the pull-ups. You had to do the running. You actually had to do the sit-ups. You actually had to do
Yes,
these
ma'am.
obstacle courses while you are on screen.
Yes, ma'am. No, so we actually when we all signed on to do it, we came in like a month early. And for that entire month, we had Marines come and train us on the a lot of it was the drilling. So there's where they're doing the movements and like walking and they're marching together and all the things. So one thing that they really did to us for that first month is they tried to make us as good as possible. So that way in the beginning we could fake being bad. So, because it's easier to fake being bad than it is to fake being good, because people are going to notice you're not good, if you're trying to be good. So they get us with the drilling, and then they had the entire obstacle course that you saw, the confidence course and the other course as well. They had that all set up for us, and we were able to run it off camera, and to really get used to each one of these obstacles. And so I'm not gonna lie, like the bar, getting over the bar, where John climbs up and I'm spinning around the bar on that course. That wasn't easy. That they had to teach us like I did this little spin thing where you spin around. That was way easier than trying to get over the bar. So I did it that way. I think it looks cooler, but it's actually easier. So that's why I did it. So, but yeah, no, it's just like they trained us the entire way. And also, I had a nutritionist and I had a strength coach and stuff that like helped me because Cody does, it's not as obvious as John, but Cody does a physical transformation. He gets a little bigger and a little bit better shape towards the end. And it was the reason we did that. I talked to the whole team about it. It was like we wanted Cody to be like physically getting better, but mentally breaking,
Mm.
and like it just being this contrast of me getting a little bigger, John getting smaller, me like realizing that, often I know I'm speaking on a lot of things here, but often men love to go to the gym as therapy. instead of
Okay.
actual
That's
therapy
how you
or like
decompressed.
yeah, exactly. Or instead of actually talking through things,
Therapy.
we like to go work out, right? So it's like I feel like that's what Cody's going through. We're getting stronger and going through this whole physical thing, but it's like mentally we're struggling. So we were very fortunate for Netflix and Sony to bring on the right people to train us through this whole thing. They had us completely taken care of, and they had like nutritionists and all these things that like really helped us understand what it would take physically to make it through this boot camp that we're doing, because it's obviously like I think Miles said in an interview, he's like, it's great, I run the course and then I say I'm tired and I go to an air conditioned tent. He's like, our real Marines, they don't get that luxury. So we were very fortunate. We don't want to act like we went through a real boot camp, but it definitely was difficult at times.
Okay, what was it like seeing yourself without hair for the first time? Maybe in a
I'm
long
not gonna.
time.
We're back. We're back. So I'm very thankful. I'm not. Yeah. So I love my hair. Like it's like my security blanket growing up for sure. I like had really spiky long hair when I was growing up too, because I just thought people look at my hair, they won't look at me, and it's like gonna be sick. But then when we got to set, I asked Andy Parker, our showrunner and writer, I said, hey man, Cody doesn't care that he's getting his head shaved, does he? And Andy goes, not at all. Not at all, buddy. Not at all. And that was probably like my biggest acting moment, one of them, because I had to act like I didn't care that I was losing all my hair. And I definitely cared. I hated it. I hated getting my head shaved. But then, like everybody on the set would say, eventually it became nice. Not gonna lie. I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't mind how I looked. I liked not having to do my hair. And then like Greg Cope White shaved his head, Peter shaved his head, our showrunner Andy shaved his head. Like people were like not even on camera were shaving their head in solidarity. So it was amazing. It was amazing.
I have to ask about the scene where you and and your brother are tethered to each other. What was it like for the two of you maneuvering that?
So, I mean, the bed scene, I think, is probably the most awkward scene because, I mean, we knew each other at that point, but it's not like I was as tight as I am now to him. So
Nothing
it was
bonds the
interesting.
pair like peeing in a bucket while the other one sleeps.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't know, like that. John, shout out to Blake for crushing that scene, though. His acting in that scene is so beautiful and amazing. So shout out to him. But I think it was. I don't know. I love the rope together scenes because offset, we didn't take the rope off. So we'd like, if we were just going to our chairs and stuff, we would annoy each other and keep it on. We'd keep the rope on like between takes. And I think it just made us closer. And I know that was the whole point in the show was try to, break this like facade that we hate each other. That's what the drill instructor was trying to do. Like the Marines break you down and you become one. You're not
Yeah.
like one by yourself, but you're one as a unit. And that's all they were trying to do. And it really did work. So it was nice for us because that's episode 2. So it's like early on in our shooting process, it was this weird cathartic like thing to be tied together at all times. So and that scene when um Nicholas Logan, how it cuts our rope and lets us go on the course together. We actually taped a running through the course with the rope still attached. And that was hilarious because it was like me trying to yank him over the bar and like trying to yank him over the wall. And it just didn't work for the show, but it was so funny. I like yanked him over the pole we're jumping over. And I think it was a little too brutal. I'm gonna be honest, a little too brutal for John. So it was good. It taught us a lot and it made us get closer as brothers
Okay, you guys
for
are in
sure.
this barracks for half the time, when the other half you're not fighting for your lives here on these obstacle courses. What did you all do to fill the time when you weren't shooting, hanging out in those barracks? Are you just like on your phones? Are you
Yeah.
actually
I
chatting away?
we
How
yeah,
did you
we
all
all found our
decompress?
own Yeah, we all found our own thing for sure. I know that like books were a big thing for some people. Poetry. Kieran Moore's he writes poetry and it's like beautiful, like it's incredible. Shout out to him. Blake, he basically like traded crypto. and stocks, and he bought apartments, and like I don't know, he's like a businessman, so he was just doing business stuff. Me and Dom talked about like fitness world a lot and protein and all that stuff, boring for a lot of people, but for us it's sick. We love talking about that. And then I'm gonna be honest, we had the best crew in the world. I was so close and still am so close with so many of the crew members. So we really just like we were never bored. We had moments where we were tired for sure, and we were just in our tent, like kind of like trying to decompress. But really, you can ask any of the crew members. We were all so close, and I actually would go around. I have a Fujifilm camera, and I'd go around taking pictures while I wasn't. That was my thing. If I wasn't talking to the guys, I would take pictures, and I have probably 6,000 photos that
Release the
I've given to
photos.
Netflix. Yeah, they're on my Instagram, Brandon Tyler Moore at Brandon Tyler Moore, and a bunch of the guys are sharing them too. And I've given them the Netflix and Sony for them to have too, just because I was like, hey guys, like I
Wonderful.
want the show to do great and people to see the behind the scenes stuff. So here's the photos, and so yeah, just I we just had it. The environment was unlike anything I've been a part of. So it was awesome.
Was the real Greg Cope White on set much to sort of advise as well?
Yes, no, Greg talked to me this morning. Like we're all so close. It's the wildest thing. So he was there pretty much as often as he could be, and it was very, very often. We had the writer strike and stuff, so like sometimes like there for that third episode, he wasn't there, and it just depended on when they were allowed to be there. But really, he was as available as we needed him to be. Like he was on set, or if I needed to call him, text him, or whatever, he was super great for all of us. So he's amazing. He's a great man. Like I said, I literally talked to him this morning. He keeps up with all of us mainly through Instagram. We'll tag each other and message each other and stuff on there. So it's great.
Oh, so it's great to see you have such a wonderful friendship between all of you. What else did you take away personally from your time working on this show?
That is a deep question, but it's a good question. So even towards the end, our marine advisors like pulled me aside and they were like, "Hey B," they were like, "we can see a difference in you." They're like, "You're walking different. You hold yourself different." And because we're like told to act like Marines so much. And you just like have constantly have these Marines telling you, no, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. This is why we do it. And a big part of the Marines is it's not, as far as I've learned, and Marines might tell me wrong here, but it's not like how important your metal being perfectly even or not having little pinnets on these things and taking these little Irish pinnets off and making sure everything's perfect and your bed's perfect. It's not really about the bed. It's not really about the box. It's not about this. It's if you do the little things right. I know in war, you're going to have my back and you're going to be doing all the little things right. And you're going to be doing the big things right too. My gun's going to be loaded properly. We're going to be safe. We're going to have like all the like ins and outs of war are going to be taken care of because I know you did your box right and your bed right. And all the little things that we think aren't important, it's like it rolls over to the really important things. So I think that's something that in my own life I started doing things different. I started like keeping my car cleaner and I like started like taking notes more and like making sure I had all the little things better. I became a better, in my opinion, a better person and a better actor through this project. Um, just more confident and more um, just ready for what was to come in my career. So I'm really excited and thankful.
So season two, you in?
I can't make that call. I'm ready for a season two. I think we have a group chat that we all talk with every day. Again, this is the closest I've ever been to any cast in my life. We talk every day and we're all like, I mean, the numbers look good, right? Like we're like all kind of arguing, like it's doing well, right? Like with season two, come on, So we're all excited, but we also know it's a business and we're not going to take anything personal. And I think we all did a great job and we're all proud of our performance. So whatever happens, happens, and we'll be thankful for whatever we get.
Have a lot of then former servicemen, not just Marines, been reaching out to you and sort of maybe commenting to you maybe about their own experiences or maybe how they see themselves or their former selves, I should say, in your storyline as well.
Yeah, no, so we've had a lot of Marines reach out, and I think, there are some parts of the story that aren't as accurate as they think it should be, or they thought it
Mm,
was, or whatever. And it's in 1990, so it may have been a little different. But then there's also times where we took artistic choices, right? Like we changed the color of a shirt or changed this or whatever because it looks better on screen than it was super accurate. But yeah, we've had Marines reach out, and it's really cool. So like Marines, I have one Marine. I'm not going to name him, but he like commented on my one of my stories or my pictures, and it was super negative. Like it was like, oh my gosh, like this is like what is this crap, blah blah blah, and I'm like, it was just very hateful towards the show. And I don't reply often, but for some reason on this one, I felt like I should reply to this comment because he was just like it felt more concerned than really angry. He's like, like this isn't our Marines, like this isn't blah blah blah, and whatever it was, right? And so I replied, well, now he like apologized for that comment. He watched the
mm.
show. He's like such a nice guy. He invited me out to this like Marines birthday thing. Like he's so kind now, like, but in the beginning of them. And it's just like in there be done right in one end of his home. And that's okay. And then he watched it and he's like, you know what, man? It's like he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said those things. And it's been great. So
Well, maybe it was a bad day. Maybe it was, like he hadn't watched
yeah.
really what was going on. Maybe he thought it was like nitpicking on details, but whatever it was, I'm glad you turned him into a friend. And it's great that the two of you keep in touch and he opened his heart to the series as well. I think what on the surface seems like um, another like militarily focused series, there's heart to it. Miles just is insanely good at both inner Cameron, outer Cameron, and the friendships and stuff. And he
Yeah.
just not just all of you are just so good they perfectly cast each one of you in these roles, and it's just great to see in the
Thank
show.
you.
You're such a committed actor. I mean, we shaved your head for this. You learned German for another role. What's next?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what can't you do,
That's
I
funny.
should say at this point? What are some dream things you
Right.
have in mind? Any roles you would love to just transform in other ways for?
Absolutely. Thank you. That's a great question and a great compliment. I do have an amazing cast around me. They're great guys and phenomenal actors. But it's a great question. I think that I really want to obviously jump into the Marvel world somehow. Like I think there's something special about those characters. Um, Growing up, I played football at Alabama for 5 years, and when I would go, I would volunteer at like children's hospitals and stuff, and do some Habitat for Humanity stuff. And there was something about wearing my jersey when I saw these like kids in Alabama. It was like their eyes lit up because we played football at Alabama, and it was this big deal. And I wasn't even extremely like good at Alabama compared to my teammates. But just that jersey alone like made these kids' days. So like they were like, oh my gosh, that's an Alabama football player. And it was the coolest thing to be able to volunteer and go to these like cancer research places and really work with these kids. I think there's the same thing possible with a Marvel character, right? I think that like Captain America, I think Chris Evans has such a beautiful opportunity to just be something so special for these kids as Captain America and like speak into their lives. And I think every one of those Marvel characters that that kids have grown up with or they look up to or whatever, I think it's such a responsibility and a responsibility I wouldn't mind having to really like be an impact for this next generation that I think you can't really do as just an actor. I think there's something special about those characters that these kids love to watch. Like my little nephew loves Captain America, loves Black Panther, loves, these characters that he watches on his cartoons and on these shows, and it's just really, really cool. So I think if I could do that, that would be awesome and probably do some kind of physical transformation for that character as well. That would be really, really cool.
What's
Yeah.
next for you? Have you been busy working on some other things in your downtime?
Um, so I do have some other things I'm producing now too. So I'm just trying to
Wow.
like make some projects and work with people that I love, and it's been really good. Like that's been a whole process of learning because that's all new to me. That started after the show, and then I have a movie in November that I'm going out to LA for. It's another military project, so in the same world. And that's okay. I love it. They say
Yeah.
typecasted is casted, so we're casted. We're working. I'm thankful. Um, and yeah, no, I have some other things coming, but the other ones I really can't talk about too much.
Well, we
So very thankful.
look forward to bigger and better things for you here in 2026. I'm excited good things to come for you.
Thank you so much.